Hi, welcome to my dance class. Today we're going to do some Charleston. So I hope you're ready to have some fun as it's a light, energetic, fun dance style. Now don't worry if you've not done it before, I'm going to break down a routine for you and teach you all the steps and try and piece it together. And you'll actually be able to dance it to a variety of different tracks, and I'll give you some recommendations at the end of this video. But first of all, just to remind you, I'm going to be dancing it in mirror to you, so the instructions I give will be so you go to your right. That will be my left, but it means we're going the same side, and that generally is easier to follow. So I hope you get on okay with that, and let's see how we get on. As always, we start with the introduction, and today that's going to be doing what I refer to as the single heel. So kicking out the heels from side to side, and we're going to do 16 of those. Now, basically, what you want to try and remember is keep your weight forward in the balls of your feet so your heels are slightly coming up. It gives you more space as you let your feet change from side to side, giving your legs more space. Now, you can either kick out the heels a little bit more with a bend in the knee so that it's more of a bent leg. But if you find it easier, you can keep your leg a bit straighter, and then it's a little less pressure on your knee. Either is fine, but you will find that latter version a little bit harder when the music's quicker, so see how you get on. Now, Charleston's going to be a challenge because it's arms and legs at the same time, and with this one, we're going to let the arms just swing from side to side. I'm keeping them low, and they'll go the same side as the leg. So your right foot always starts first, so it'll be right, left, going the same side. Like I said, that will be 16 counts for the first, for the introduction. Now, the other thing is really looking at the timing, because we always focus where our weight is when we're stepping, and we usually step on the beat. The emphasis is not going to be kicking out the heels to the side, but when you bring the leg back down, which means we go on the offbeat. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So you can see on the count, I'm lowering. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So you have to start a little bit sooner. And then if you're doing it with your heels slightly up, and you can get a little bit of a bounce going if you want to as well. All right. So that's our little introduction. Like I said, 16 of those. Our first main section is the double heels. Now that's very similar to the last move, you're just doing 2 each side. So it'll be 2 with the right and 2 with the left. Now in this version, I'm still doing it with the bend of the knees. You can still do it with the straight leg. And if you find it a bit too quick, you don't have to bring your feet closed every time. You can see I've kept a little bit of a gap. So you can do it with your feet closed, but that takes a little longer to do. And if the music is a bit quicker, or you find it too quick, you'll find it a little easier to keep your legs a bit further apart. With the arms, I do what I call window cleaning arms, circling outwards. Now I circle outwards, and 99% of the people that come to my classes do as well, but it's absolutely fine if you're one of those that circles inwards, all right? It really doesn't matter. Now one circle will be with every lift up and down, so 2 with the right and 2 with the left. Generally keeping your hands up at about shoulder height as you do that, or chest height, either is fine. And we're going to have 8 of those, all right? The next move is the slap of the knees. Now, first of all, I'll just look at the footwork. What we'll do is we'll have our feet about hip width apart. It just helps with balance a little bit. And you'll start with your right leg. You're going to lift your right leg up and down 4 times. On that 4th one, change your weight, and you'll do that the other side. We'll repeat again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the timing is much the same as I was showing with the single heels and the double heels, and that it's all about when you lower, so it's down. It's where the weight is, and when your foot goes down rather than the lift up. So, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So you can see the emphasis there is on the foot when it's down. So in terms of the arms, I'm going to put one hand on top of the other. I'm going to face the corners a little bit when I do this. So face the right corner, keep your arms low. Don't lift them up, because then you're making your knee come up really high to get contact. Keep it nice and low. And you'll find then that the knee, or the top of the leg I should say, basically just hits the hands. But the emphasis is still on the down and not on the slap. So although I refer to as the slap knees, it's and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And you might find you get a little bit of a bobbing action with the body as you duck or bend a little bit as you raise the leg. But don't overthink it too much. Just see how you get on. Okay, so the next 2 moves we've got are the Charleston variations. We'll do a Charleston tap forward and back, and then a Charleston kick. So you'll start with your right foot, you'll step forward and then tap, and then step back and tap. Forward and tap, and back and tap. And we'll have 4 sets of those. Now, you might want to get a bit more of the Charleston style where we swing out the leg a little bit. And so you're tapping in front but swinging the leg rather than doing it in much more of a linear fashion where you're not. And as I said, if it's a faster track, you'll find it a little bit hard to get the swinging action. Now, I'm dancing on carpet. I'm not even going to attempt to do a swivel action with the heel. Don't worry, you won't be marked down if you don't. It really depends on the floor surface that you're using, and also when you're not used to doing that action all the time, to suddenly do it a lot for about half an hour or an hour, you will find your ankles will really ache. It is great for building up strength, but perhaps doing a little bit at a time. So you make that decision at home as to what you think is going to be best for you, and you don't have to do that swivel action. So you've got step tap forward, step tap back. Now with the arms, I just tend to swing the arms from side to side like this. Okay? All right, so we have 4 sets of those. We'll then do the Charleston kick. So basically it's a step and a kick forward, and then still the step tap back. Step, kick forward, step, tap back. I tend to keep this one a bit more linear, even on the latter part when you're tapping behind. You could swing it out, but I don't think it's necessary. And with the arms, we'll take the arms up as you kick, and then a little bit of a reach forward when you do the tap. Up, reach forward, up, reach forward. And 4 sets of that. All right. So we have our first section. We're going to put that together, starting with the double heels. So you have 2 with the right, 2 with the left, 2 with the right. Keep going 4 more. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Slap the knees, and 1 and 2, 3 and change. 1 and 2, 3 and again. 1 and 2, 3 and last one into the Charleston. Forward and tap, and back and tap. Forward and tap, and back. 2 more. Forward and tap, back and tap. Last one into Charleston kick. Step and kick, back, tap. Step, kick, back, tap. Step, kick. 1 more time. Step, kick, back, tap. And that's your first section. Let's get into our next section then, which I'm going to refer to as the push-up section. Now, with this one, let's look at the footwork. We've got 3 moves that are very, very similar in how they're executed. And so we'll look at the 3 together. The push-up, first of all, you'll stay facing forwards. And essentially what you're going to do is a step drag to the side for 3.5. We don't close on the 4th one. Step, drag, step, drag, step, drag, step. The idea being that with the step, the foot lifts up and down. With the second one, the drag, it doesn't come off the ground. Now, you will find possibly a little bit more challenging if you're dancing on carpet to keep that, but you get the general idea. One leg lifts up a little bit more and the other drags. Step, drag, step, drag, step, drag, step. Step, drag, step, drag, step, drag, step. So with this first variation, we're going to face front. With the second variation, which I'll refer to as the flipper, technical terms you understand, you're going to face the corner and face the direction that you're going. And so you'll do step drag still, but facing the corner, moving to the side. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Once again, I don't, on that 4th one, I don't close. I'll do my turn instead. Step, drag, step, drag, step, drag, step. Turn, step, drag, step, drag, step, drag, step. I call it the flipper because you can imagine you've got a flipper on your foot. When you have flippers, you have to lift the feet up. All right. So the third variation is the Egyptian, and this one will face the side completely. And also I'm going to bend the knees a little bit so you get a little bit more motion with the body. So it's still step, drag, step, drag, step, drag, step. And the idea is that you get the hips going a little bit more because the knees are bent, and you'll find that you get more body motion, which will then affect your arms, which we'll do in a second. So we've got 3 variations: push up facing front, flipper facing the corner, and the Egyptian moving to the side, facing the side. Okay, so the arms. Now, the push up. We push the arms up towards the corners 4 times one way, 4 times the other way. So towards the corner on an angle, you don't bring them all the way down. That takes too long to do. So keep them more away and a little bit of motion. Now, most people say arms and legs at the same time are impossible, or at least very, very challenging. But this is the one move that I have found everyone can do without fail, without even having to explain how to put the arms and legs together. I don't know why that is, but this one works. So I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. Ready, and push. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Did it work okay? I hope you haven't proved me wrong. All right, so the second variation, the flipper, I keep the arms at the side. They're literally just kind of flapping forward and back or in a downward motion, and they'll go the same as the legs. So when you lift the leg, you lift the arm. When you lower the leg, you lower the arm. So it's up and down at the same time. And down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Or really, as you'll see, it's more a forward and back. So the emphasis is going to be on the back, on the downward part with the arms, just like it is on the downward part of the leg. Back, 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 back. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the Egyptian, well, we've got that bend in the arms. Don't worry too much about the back, just bend a little bit. We try and get the sort of palms flat, so the higher arm facing the direction you're going, so that would be your right arm, you've got the palm facing down, and then the back one, palm faces up. Remember to bend the knees so that if you get the motion then with the body. Step, drag, step, drag, step, drag, step, change, step, drag, step, drag, step, drag, step. Notice I'm not moving the arms. They will move because I'm moving my body. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So don't try and overthink the arms. Now we've got one more move to add on to this section, which is going to be the walk in the circle. You're going to start with your right foot and go clockwise. And so we'll just do that for a second without the arms. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I tend to finish with my feet together at the end, which is also a good little trick in case you happen to have the wrong foot. It gives you a brief little second to correct that. Now, essentially, when we walk with the opposite arm to leg. That is the natural way to do it, and that is what we're going to do here, but we're just making that action a little bit bigger. So rather than keeping the arms low, I want you to bring those arms up more to chest high. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then just low on the 8 when you come in, feet together. So the trick is this one is just to get that first bit. If you can get the first one, then the rest will follow, if you find yourself overthinking your lefts and your rights. So you want to have your right foot with your left arm. You could just practice that. If you can get that one, you'll be fine for the rest of it. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 together. So I've done the 4 steps that are in that section. And what we'll have is a link that takes us back to the beginning, and that means we're going to land up repeating the single heels from side to side. All right, so let's piece that together and just look at how we put those 5 moves, in fact, together then. So we've got the push up first of all, to the corner, 4 to the right, 4 to the left. When I transfer into the flipper, I'm just going to bring the arms down from there. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Into the Egyptian, right, 2, 3 and 4, left, 2, 3 and 4. Now going into the walk, it's the hand that's high is going to start you off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Feet together, arms down, back to our single heels, and that will take us back to the beginning. All right, so let's actually try it again, but this time to account without me pausing or slowing down for those joints. 5, 6, 7, 8. Push 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 into flipper, and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 Egyptian. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2. Walk in a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into the heels, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's your section. All right, so basically, as I said, it takes us back to the beginning, and we'll do that again through a second time, and then we get to a new bit, often referred to as like the bridge in the music. It's the change, and we've got a slower instrumental part. And so we're going to look at those moves now. I'm going to do the heel swivel. Now I'm actually going to do it without a swivel, just to make it a lot easier, especially because if you've got carpet, it's a bit tricky to do. And I don't want you to have any kind of injuries or worries and concerns about your knees, which can happen. So just take care. Clasp your hands together, keeping them up nice and high. So if you actually press the hands together, so at chest height here, you actually will feel the tension in your arms. So that's great. Now literally step across on your right foot to the side. Across, side, across, side, across. Attempt to bring the feet together at the end there. Doesn't have to be a big step, especially if you've got limited space. Across and side, across and side, across and side, across together. So that side quite small. And you might have noticed also that I actually keep that back heel up a little bit and keep the front heel down. All right. Next up, we have the flap up and down. Now, in terms of the footwork, step to the side, knees out. Step in, knees in. Out, in, out, in, out, in. So there's a few different ways you could do that. You could treat it like a step and just try and move the heels. Quite tricky when you're in carpet, but you might find it a little bit easier. The more you bounce up, a little bit easier it is, because you can change your position without having restriction of your foot on the floor. Now the arms with that. Basically, up, well I shouldn't, sorry, I don't need to go to the side for that. Up and down, up and down. Now, that action requires quite a bit of rotation in your shoulders. So if necessary, just keep your arms lower to make that easier. If you have your hands higher, you'll find that harder work. So find the level that's right for you. Now you'll have the legs apart and the arms up at the same time. Out, in and down. Out, in and down. Out, up and down. 4 of those. So let's try that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I tend to try and come back to my center points each time, so that helps and you don't overshoot either direction with that. All right, so you have a choice here. You can either just repeat those 2 moves again if you don't want to do this next variation. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to try the monkey step. This is this one. It can be tricky to do. The problem is really if you've got knee issues or back issues, you may be thinking not so sure, in which case just repeat those 2 moves that I've just done. But if you want to give it a try, you can. So really have your weight forward, out of the heels as much as you can so that you can bend your knees, and then it gives you a little bit of motion to flap. Now I've also got my feet turned out. Hopefully you can see my feet face in the corner. If they're not, if your hips aren't turned out, your feet face forwards. When you turn them out, your feet face the corners. And they don't have to be much wider than that. But the difference is that when you bend your knees, when you're not turned out, the knees go forward. When you bend the knees with your feet and hips turned out, your knees go to the side. And so you get a little bit more visibility with that movement. So when my hips are turned out like that, it looks completely different to when it's like that. So either can work for you. Find the best version for yourself. I tend to go with the heels, the hips turned out, bending the knees, heels off the ground. Requires a bit of balance, but that's how we do it. Now, this particular track that I'm going to use is a bit faster, so I'm going to do this motion slowly. Out and out, in and out, and out. All right, sometimes it goes quicker, it just depends on the speed of the music. Charleston music has quite a large variation of speeds that you can use. All right, so the arms. Right, that's the tricky bit. So they're basically going out and then across, out and across. Now you can see, even just doing that, that puts quite a bit of pressure on your back. So you can do it more upright. It doesn't matter if you're doing it more at your thighs and less at the knees. It's really up to you. What we want to try and do is kind of tip your pelvis forward a little bit. Try not to reach forward too much and don't over practice it. All right. Now, sorry, I just did that quickly. But basically, hands on the knees, bring them in, swap the arms as the knees go back out. Bring them in, uncrossed, crossed. Uncrossed, crossed, uncrossed, crossed. Once we've done the monkey step, we're going to just add the Charleston. So we'll go back to our forward and back, as it's a nice easy variation to do. Most people are happy with this one. So we will have 4, just like before, of the tap and 4 with the kick. All right, so from there, then we're going to go back to the double heel section, which I'll recap in a second. That will then lead us back into our second main section, which was the push up, which we will do twice through, again without doing the single heels in between. And then we finish up with the walk around, and you'll literally have a ending with a step forward and the jazz hands. All right, so that is actually the last of the moves, but we do need to piece it together. So this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. Let's recap right back at the beginning. Are you ready? Let's recap then from the top. We have our introduction, which is doing our single heels from side to side, and we're going to have 16 of those. Keep the arms low, keep the heels off the ground, and if you want to, you can get a little bit of a bounce going. I've lost count, but we're doing 16. Then we're going to go into our double heel sections. This is where I go into the window cleaning. So it's 2 with the right and 2 with the left, 2 with the right. We'll do 8 in total. 5, 6, 7, and 8. From here into the slap of the knees. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll do 4 times. So keep changing. 1, 2, 3. Last time. 1, 2, 3. Into our Charleston, forward and tap, back and tap. Swing the arms if you can from side to side if you want to get the swing of the leg out and in. Into the Charleston kick, step, kick forward, step, tap back, step, kick forward, step, tap back. 2 more. And then from there, we're going into our push-up section. So 4 to the right, 3 and 4, 4 to the left. Into flipper, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, Egyptian to the side, 2, 3 and change, 1, 2, walk in a circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and single heels. We'll do 8 this time to take us back to the beginning, and the double. So we would do all of those moves again. Remember, the last move coming out of that section was going to be the walk around the circle. We will once again do the single heels for 8, but instead of going back to the beginning for a 3rd time, this is where our new slow bit's going to come in, or the music calms down a little bit. It's a little bit of an instrumental section. And this is where we have the swivel. Across and side, 3 and 4. Flat up and down, 2, 3, a monkey step, 1, 2, 3, 4. Come forward and tap, back and tap. Swing the arms if you can from side to side if you want to get the swing of the leg out and in. Into the Charleston kick, step, kick forward, step, tap back, step, kick forward, step, tap back. 2 more. And then from there, we're going back to doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're doing all of that again, yes. So without actually having repeated, we go back to the beginning, do all of that again. We'll come back to the push-up section again, which we do 4. We have the flipper. We have the Egyptian. We'll walk around in the circle. We're going to do that twice. So from there, straight back into the push-up, flipper, Egyptian. Get the idea? Swing around. So we want to walk around in the circle. 5, 6, 7, ending, jazz hands. And hopefully that worked brilliantly. Have some fun. We're going to try it to music shortly. Thank you. See you next time. Bye. If you'd like to watch another video, you've got links on the side there. And if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you press that button in the corner. Thank you. Bye.